Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're not already subscribed, you know the routine. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. Ross Dickinson, the creator, inventor of the Kibosh Rapid Repair Clamp, video link up above, created a new product called the Kibosh Fast Freeze Clamp. And this was developed to freeze 1/2 and 3/4 inch copper, steel, or brass water lines in the event you couldn't shut the water off. Let's say you had a service valve that didn't work, or you're working in a multifamily building and you didn't want to shut down the entire building. You'd be able to isolate where you want to make the repair. So he sent that to me. We're going to jump down on the bench. We're going to do a real-time demonstration. We're going to see how fast it freezes, see what this thing is all about. But if you're a service and repair guy, this is something you probably want to keep in your truck. Before we do that, I'm going to go into this little screencast. I'll tell you a little bit about what's available out there, what I've used in the past, and then we'll go down and check it out. So don't go away, stick around. I think this is going to be an interesting video. At least I'm excited about it. See you on the bench. All right, as you can see here are some options that you have when coming down to freezing a line, either because the water doesn't shut off or it's not too cost effective to shut down and drain down the system, whatever the case may be. I've used the cold shot machine. I've borrowed it from a colleague. I would say the downside in this particular case when I borrowed the tool was the CO2 tank was like 5 foot tall, 6 inches in diameter. It was a pain in the butt to carry around with me. It's an expensive tool, takes up a little room. So you're going to need an additional CO2 tank, but it can freeze larger diameter pipe. It is better in commercial and industrial applications. Longer freeze times, works better in warmer ambient air conditions, but there is more space required for tool storage. The next one is the Ridgid Super Freeze, which I have no experience with, nor will I ever have. That's a $3,200 machine. For the type of work I do, there's no way I would ever need a machine like this. Again, it can freeze large diameter pipe. There's no CO2 involved. This is a self-contained refrigerant inside the machine. Better in commercial industrial applications. Longer freeze times, works better in warm ambient air conditions. Again, more space required for tool storage. Now we move over to the Kibosh Freeze Clamp. Reasonably priced. You can store this in your truck very easily. Reusable. Again, shorter freeze times, but for the type of work you're going to be doing, think about it. I'm a service and repair plumber. I'm going to be doing small little repairs on 3/4 inch copper and 1/2 inch copper pipe. And for what I need it for, I think for me, this is going to be my choice. It's an environmentally safe freezing medium. It's compact for easy storage, not suited in warmer working conditions. In other words, the ambient air, if it's warm in the room you're working with, it's probably going to take longer to get that freeze plug. Current sizes available are 15 mil, that's 1/2 inch, or 22 mil 3/4. This is for steel, brass pipe, copper pipe, and it's not going to be applicable for larger diameter size pipes. So basically, these are the 3 units that, I see available out there. Again, I've used the cold shot machine. It works well, but lugging around that 5 foot tall CO2 tank was a real pain in the butt. I'm sure there are smaller size tanks, but again, it's still an extra piece of equipment that you're going to have to lug around with you. And if you're in the type of situation where you're doing large industrial work and you're constantly having to freeze lines because they don't want to shut and drain down, you may want to invest in that Ridgid Super Freeze. For what I do, it's not going to be my tool of choice. Now, I'm quickly going to jump into the PDF or the instructions that come with the Kibosh Freeze Clamp, and we'll go over some parameters as noted in their actual instructions. All right, so I won't go over everything in these instructions, but pretty much you look at the freezing guide there. It'll give you some parameters in terms of the size of the pipe, the type of the pipe, and the freeze times. So as you can see, the 15 mil or 1/2 inch will take anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, and the plug should last you about 20 minutes if you have good ambient room temperature. That's not too warm. The 22 mil, which is 3/4 inch, is going to take about 5 to 7 minutes, and that should last you about 25 minutes. We're going to jump down to the bench now. I'm going to go through a live demonstration. I'm not going to read all these instructions to you. I'll leave that to you when you have some time. Again, they come in the box with the clamp, and we will review that on top of the bench. But this is how this works. We're going to go down. We're going to see in real time. We're going to time it. I'm going to use my phone. We'll time it to see how long the plug takes to form. And yeah, but again, for me, the service and repair plumber, I think if I'm faced with a situation where I absolutely cannot shut down the water, or perhaps it's going to be too much of a pain in the neck because I'm going to put too many people at a commission, I want to freeze it. I think this is going to be my go-to choice. So now let's jump down to the bench and see how this is going to work. All right, believe it or not, guess what just showed up at the doorstep yesterday? This has been long waiting. There were some problems, I guess, when it got to the United States and it went through customs, and they wanted clarification on what this was. And so I reached out to Ross, the inventor of the product, and I believe he made a couple of inquiries, and we got everything straightened out, and this finally arrived at my doorstep yesterday. So we're going to open up this box and take a look and see what this Kibosh Freeze Clamp is all about. So you're going to witness this live. I'm going to attempt to open this, and we'll unpack it. I'll take the stuff out, and then we'll see what's in here, and then we will lay it out on the bench and see what it's all about. So let me neatly take these papers out of here, and then we will go about opening up this box. I'm excited about doing this review, and again, it took a little longer than expected because there was a problem, like I said, with customs, and so here we go. Let's see what we have in here. All right, cool. All right, I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so I see we have a can of Fast Freeze spray. We'll just put this on the side for the moment. We have, I don't know what these are at the moment, but we will revisit this. This may just be packing. We have this looks like a 15 mil Fast Freeze Clamp. We'll put this on the side. We have a 22 mil Fast Freeze Clamp. We'll put this over here. And we have several cans of, I guess, Fast Freeze. They come in different sizes. This one looks a little bigger. Oh no, they look the same. Actually, I guess this cap must have broke, but that's not a problem. So we have we have 4 cans of Fast Freeze spray. And I don't know what this is, but we're going to find out quickly. Oh wow, check this out. It's a Kibosh coffee cup. Much appreciated, Ross. I drink my black coffee every day. Black, straight up, no milk, no sugar. This is going to come in handy. Thank you very much. Let's see if we have anything else in here. Let's check this out. And, oh wow, this looks like a note from Ross and the team thanking me for doing this review. Ross, no, thank you. I'm looking forward to doing it. So with that said, I am going to take this box out of the way. I'll lay out the products. We'll go over it one more time. I'll lay them all out here so you can see exactly what came in the box. And then we will proceed into doing the review. All right, real quick, we'll go over the contents of the package one more time. So as you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cans of Fast Freeze along with the injector tubes. On the right here is a 3/4 inch or 22 mil Fast Freeze Clamp. On the left is the 15 mil or 1/2 inch Fast Freeze Clamp. And on the bottom here, what I thought was packaging is not packaging. It's an essential part of the process. It's the foam that has to be cut and placed in to the clamp prior to using it. This aids in the evaporation of the liquid. We're not depending upon the liquid to freeze. We're depending upon the evaporation process to form the ice plug. Once that's in there, you got to wrap this around your pipe. You got to clamp it shut. You got to hold this. And once it's on there, we have a series of 2 holes. We have a hole on the bottom. There's a larger hole and a smaller hole on top, which is the vent. So on the bottom here, we're going to put the tube from the can. We're going to start introducing liquid through small timed pumps. And if you should see any liquid coming out of this vent hole, it means you're using too much liquid. I'm going to do a real-time demonstration on 1/2-inch copper pipe. We'll time it. You'll see that in real time. Then what I'm going to do off camera is do another demonstration on 3/4 inch just to see the difference between the freeze times and see how that works. When you store these clamps, you want to store these clamps in the open position, which is going to guarantee the integrity of these rubber gaskets, because if you leave them squeezed shut, these gaskets may flatten out and lose their ability to have a completely leak-free tight seal. Another thing I wanted to mention is this. I know a lot of you professionals out there that may be watching this have a tendency of going gangbusters and going right to it, but I would recommend you take the instructions out of these content packages and reading how this works. You may get some useful tips. Listen, I'm guilty myself of opening up boxes and throwing stuff out, but I can't tell you enough how I would recommend you read this and see the process and how they recommend to use the product. It may save you some grief in the end. So without further ado, let me set up my jig and we will do a real-time demonstration on 1/2-inch copper pipe to see how well the Kibosh Fast Freeze Clamp does its job. All right, guys, we're just about ready to get this party going. I just want to take this off the tripod a second and show you that, in fact, in my little jig here, I just topped it off and you can see the water in there. And I have my can of Fast Freeze already inserted into the inlet port on this Fast Freeze clamp. And on the other side, you're going to see the vent at top, which you're going to want to keep an eye on because we really don't want to see any product coming out of there as you're doing this. And I'm going to set this back on the tripod. So bear with me. This is live video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little, I set up this little, I don't know, I got a little zip tie, and I'm going to stick it in here. And you can see some water coming out of there, which is fine. And we're gonna start this freezing process. So as per the instructions, but before I do this, let me get the stopwatch, set it up right there, and we're gonna start the stopwatch, and we're gonna see how this works out. So we're gonna do short burst, short control burst. And the idea is we want an evaporation process to take place. Now, in the instructions, it says for 1/2-inch pipe, which you're looking at here, it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes to get a freeze plug. So we're just going to let this do its thing. Again, you don't want to keep your finger on the button because if it starts coming out of the vent here, that's not what you want to see. You want to do short control burst because the product has to evaporate in order to create the freeze plug. So we're gonna hit this again. And yeah, and you know, all rules are going to apply to freezing even in this method here, meaning that if you're trying to freeze water and it's moving, it's not going to work. If there's any movement in the water, it's absolutely not going to work. If you're in a situation where maybe you're trying to freeze a heating line, you're going to want to make sure that there is no antifreeze in there because that's going to not allow it to freeze. You're also going to want to make sure any circulating pumps aren't on that are allowing the water to move around, because that's going to keep the water from freezing. So all the rules apply to freezing of any other method are going to apply here with this method. So we are going to continue to add product. And you know what I'm going to do? I think just to show you, if I keep my finger on this button and see if we can see anything coming out of here. Yeah. See, did you see it just shot out? You don't want to do that, because that's not going to allow anything to freeze. You just got to give it time. You got to let it evaporate. And yeah, we'll see how, things, well, it's actually, believe it or not, guys, I can't pull this out. At least it's starting to form an ice plug. We will continue. We're at the 212 mark. And yeah, so this is a convenient way to do things, especially if you're in the service and repair part of the industry. This doesn't take up much room in your truck. And I think if you're in a situation where you absolutely can't get a shutdown, this is going to allow you to get the job done. I'm doing short bursts, I'm doing 3 max. And actually what's going to happen is, yeah, this is starting to go. What's going to happen is you should see some frost starting to appear on the pipe. I'm using very little gas, guys. Very little gas. And we'll continue to go. And we're at the 3-minute mark. And let's see how we're doing here. And yeah, this is in there. I can't yank this out. We're going to continue to go. Let's go. We'll max this out at 5 minutes and see where we are. But listen, if you're in a pinch and you absolutely can't get a water shutdown, I can see how this tool can be invaluable. Again, if you guys are doing big industrial work and you're working in commercial situations, multifamily buildings where you just can't shut down the water and you have to get it done in a timely manner, you're probably going to be better off going with the standard methods that are out there, the general cold shot, the Ridgid fast freeze. But for what I do, I think what we're looking at here is a really, really economical way of freezing a line and getting it done. So this is, I don't know if you can see the shaking. This is formed an ice plug, and we're just about at the 5-minute mark. And you can top this off, as you're working, depending upon what method you're using, you could top it off while you're doing your work. You want to make sure that ice plug is going to stay and it's not going to melt or thaw out while you're in the middle of your work. So we're coming up on 5 minutes here, and I'm going to just hit this stopwatch. And actually, it was frozen at about the 3.5-minute mark, but I don't know if you can see this, but I'm trying to pull this out, and it's not going anywhere. So we have an ice plug, and I'm caught in there. So yeah, guys. Again, it's something that I think can be a valuable part of your tool arsenal. It's not going to take up a lot of room in your van, and if you're in a situation where you can't get the water shut off, the main valve doesn't shut, or maybe they don't want you to shut it. You can't shut it. There's maybe a medical facility on one level. You can't shut the water off, but you have to make a repair or you have to install a valve. We are in there. This is in there. I don't know if you can see everything shaking around, but I'm yanking on this. And I have formed an ice plug in there, so I am satisfied. And again, you can top this off as you're working. And yeah, so guys, let's get up to my desk and I'll give you my final thoughts. And again, off camera, I'm going to do the 3/4 inch or the 22 mil clamp just to see if the freeze times coincide with what it says in the manual. But this actually froze out at about 3.5 minutes. But I maxed it out at 5, and we have a fully formed ice plug. So I'll see you guys up at the desk. All right, so what are you guys thinking? Now, I want to say that I did the 3/4 inch or 22 mil clamp, and it came in at exactly 5 to 7 minutes to get a plug. But what I did was I continued pumping gas in, and I went to about the 10-minute mark. And at that point, you actually start to see the frost build up on the pipe. And in my mind, that's validity telling me that I got a nice solid plug. So whatever those recommended times are in the instructions, I probably would take a little insurance by going an extra 5 minutes until you see the frost on that pipe, which is going to ensure that you got a nice plug. And keep in mind, you can top it off as you're working. Now, a couple of things. If you're soldering, my opinion, you should be a minimum of 24 to 36 inches away from where you're trying to freeze this pipe. And hopefully you're an experienced person who knows how to solder, so you can get that pipe cut, get the valve in, make the repair, whatever, relatively quickly. Now, if you're using ProPress or you're using shark bite fittings, which by the way is a no-no here in New York City, that's not an issue. But if you're using a torch, we want to make sure we're far enough away. Listen, guys, use this for what it is. It's going to work on 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch lines, brass, steel, copper. It'll even work on 1/2 inch plastic lines, but it's going to take much longer to freeze. You're going to use more gas because the transfer process with plastic takes way longer. You want to make sure you're in a place where the room temperature is relatively stable. It's not ultra warm. This is not going to work if you're in a hot boiler room. Not saying it's not going to work. It's just going to take way longer to do. I believe I'll use this for what it is. It's a quick and easy way for me to freeze a line, pop a valve in, make a repair without having to invest in expensive equipment. On the other hand, if you guys are doing commercial, industrial work and you're out there every day and you need to get large lines frozen and you need them frozen for a long time, you might want to look at those two other alternatives. But yeah, I think it's a home run for the service and repair plumber. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. And by the way, I want to thank Ross for sending all this to me and allowing me to do the review. And I want to give a shout out because I'm going to be having my black coffee in this Kibosh cup, from now on. Black coffee straight up. Don't forget, Ross. No sugar, no milk. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm glad you stuck around. I know this was a long one. My apologies. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of when I post new videos. But more importantly, hit that like button because if you don't like these videos, YouTube kind of puts the kibosh on the videos and they don't really distribute them around. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Again, Ross, thanks very much for the opportunity. I'll see you guys real soon. Stay well. And as I always like to say, guys, happy plumbing.